When I told my friends initially, like when I was 15, that I wanted to run a business, I want to have a business, like my friends and my teachers or my work colleagues would always be like, you're a bit of a soft touch, I don't think you could do that. I got to about 27, did my degree, ticked all the boxes, did everything, and I was like, I'm not happy, like, and I was just really angry, you know. It was just like, you know, I did all the things I'm supposed to do, and I'm pretty miserable. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. And I was like, I realised that I wanted to run a business. That's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do something that's creative. And so I kind of snapped and packed it all in, and I haven't really looked back since then. The first bank manager I ever talked to, he said, "Oh, who's your target market?" And I said, "Everybody." And he was like, "Oh, no, no, who's your target market?" I was like, "Everybody." And it literally is that. So I think we often get labelled as like a hipster cafe, but like you come here any day of the week and it's young parents from Hollis Street, and it's the suits from Nama, and the tech bros from Stripe, and everyone in between. Like definitely my wife as well. Like I had a good job and it was, you know, well paid and all that kind of stuff, and it just wasn't for me. I used to go on holidays and like go to a cafe or restaurant, and I'd worked in cafes and restaurants and bars when I was in university. And then I was like, you know, all those jobs I did to get me through university, I missed them. I want to go back to them. And she was like, just have a crack at it, you know, take a year. If it doesn't work out, just come back. And she was like, you know, don't die wondering, you have to do it. So it's all her fault really. Like she pushed me to do it and bankrolled me for the guts of 3 years so that I could do it. Her two sisters were going on holidays to Thailand. And it just dawned on me that we hadn't been on holidays in 3 years. And she like said a word. It was just, this is what we have to do. And I sent her on holidays with her two sisters. Like I said, look, you should just go with them. Because, you know, I'm not going anywhere. And it was just a really weird moment where I was like, I kind of have to grow up here. Because I was still in the thing of like, this coffee's amazing. And people try and they go, oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. And that was like sustaining me. And then when things like that happen, you're just like, oh yeah, like I've got to kick on here somehow, you know. It can't just be like, oh, the coffee's great forever, you know. It's definitely a good place to start, but there has to be something else to it. People are definitely drawn to the business because of the people that work here, and they're amazing. Like somebody visited the roastery last week, and he's been to probably hundreds of roasteries around the world. And he walked through the door, and I was like, hey, this is Patrick. And everybody got up and they walked over and they shook his hand and they smiled and asked him how he was. And he was just like, this never happens, you know. And it's like, it's a real credit to them. It's just small things like that just make me so proud of them, because they're just, I mean, it's been successful for lots of reasons, but it's all down to the people. Like it's not always about numbers and, you know, sexy machines and stuff like that. It's the people, like 100% of the time. A lot of really good people that worked for me were leaving because I was just doing all the good bits. And actually, like, I ended up in the hospital getting scans for an illness that I thought I had, and the doctors just sat me down afterwards and it's like, you're just really stressed. There's nothing wrong with you. And I was like, I don't feel stressed. And he was like, well, that's how it works. And so that was a bit of a wake-up call. And I realised that like I brought the business as far as I could kind of on my own shoulders, and it was time to just do it a different way. So these days, like I have a really great team around me and I try to work with them. There's so many processes in what we do, like from like cutting open bags of green coffee and like weighing it out, and then the roasting of the coffee and the bagging of the coffee and the grinding of the coffee and, you know, the pouring of the milk. And like, you can buy the best green coffee in the world, and like to get that into a cup and have a delicious cup, there's so many things that can go wrong in each of those stages. And there's no secrets. Like everything you need to know about really great coffee is freely available on the internet. Coffee is a business of like minutes. Like if you're grinding coffee, it's you know, fractions of millimeters, it's microns. And then with water temperatures, it's like 0.1 degrees Celsius, and extraction times is 0.1 of a second, and nobody can taste the difference between those minute things. But collectively those 1% differences all add up to 5% better, or 10% better, or 30% better. I remember when I wasn't a coffee lover and I barely drank coffee, and I remember when I was, Irish barista champion, and it's like, I don't understand where one became the other. And like, in a lot of ways, it's not actually, the coffee has nothing to do with it. It's about like the social environment and the social payback that you get from coffee. People have met here on dates and have got married and have kids. It's a really exciting hub to be part of, and that's what it's about. Someone's having a bad day and they come out of their office and they've got like 40 minutes to themselves. You walk down the canal and you come in the door and someone's nice to you, and you order something, they're like, oh, you're gonna like this. And you sit down, and then someone brings you a coffee, and you take a sip, and it's just this moment where it just hits the spot, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we try to do, is try to make it, I don't know, just nail that bit.